South Korea is hoping that after inviting the North to participate in the Winter Games, tensions would ease. Delegations from both countries met in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, today to talk about North Korea's participation in the upcoming Paralympics in March. Top South Korean officials say the North Koreans are willing to talk with the U.S., but President Trump says China is key to bringing North Korea to the table.
I think that President Xi is unique. He's helping us with North Korea, who, by the way, wants to talk. As of last night, you heard that. They want to talk. And we want to talk also only under the right conditions. Otherwise, we're not talking.
The State Department is losing a top diplomat in the North Korea talks this week. Joseph Yun says he is retiring after 33 years in the Foreign Service. Yun was instrumental in securing the release of Otto Warmbier, the American who died in 2017 after being jailed in North Korea. Gordon Chang is the author of Nuclear Showdown: North Korea Takes on the World, and he's an expert in Asian foreign policy. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Should the U.S. even consider talks with North Korea? Do you think that South Korea's overtures are a good move?
Well, I think the U.S. will have to talk to North Korea. We can peacefully disarm the North, especially with sanctions, and not only sanctions on North Korea, but also sanctions on those countries doing business with North Korea. That would be Russia and China. And I think at some point, North Korea will realize it has no choice but to give up its weapons. They're not there yet. We're a long way from there. But I think the North Koreans are now willing to talk to the U.S. because they realize sanctions are biting.
Well, these latest sanctions, I think, escalated the pressure. In your opinion, I'm not sure if you think that's true, but let's talk about them. Scores of companies and ships which were accused of illicit trading. And President Trump is also slamming the president on Twitter. The policy with North Korea and the White House, is it effective?
Well, it is being increasingly effective. We see this, for instance, there are reports that North Korea might run out of hard currency by October. Even senior officials in Pyongyang are not getting their full rations out of their special distribution channels. All sorts of indications that North Korea is running out of money. Now, there's a long way to go, and China can actually make up some of the shortfalls surreptitiously. What President Trump will do would make it increasingly difficult for Beijing and Moscow to support their North Korean friends. So we're actually having some effect, but we need to have much more effect.
Well, you talked about China and Russia, and we heard the president say that China has to play a big role in this. The Wall Street Journal reported that North Korea shipped 50 tons to help with Syria in this chemical weapons fight against the rebels. UN reports are also backing that up. What is a place like North Korea to do when they are approached about having chemicals like this?
Yeah, this is a UN panel of experts report, and it's good that the UN did this. But we also suspect, and there's a lot of evidence suggesting that North Korea has been selling chemical weapons to the Syrians since the 1990s, and there's been all sorts of dangerous cooperation. I'm sure that Iran's been paying for some of this, largely because Damascus doesn't have the money for it. So, essentially what Iran did was it outsourced its nuclear weapons program to the Syrian desert. The Israelis destroyed that reactor in September 2007. There's a web of relationships among Syria, Iran, North Korea, probably China as well.
And what is to be done about that?
The U.S. needs to start imposing some costs, which are really severe. So, for instance, I think that we go after the sources of money, which would be China and Iran. You do that, eventually you roll up all of these networks. Yes, we should put pressure on Syria, but nonetheless, let's start up higher in the food chain, because if we do that, they won't have money for chemical weapons.
And I think that's what President Trump was alluding to. Thank you so much, Gordon Chang, author of Nuclear Showdown: North Korea Takes on the World.
Thanks, Lauren.